When someone suffers a brain injury in an accident, very often the damage is irreversible. It changes their life and it changes everything about them. Hello, I'm Eli Castranova. I represent injured people who suffer brain injuries in accidents. Previously, if you suffered a brain injury, it was often irreversible because the tissues of the brain usually cannot regenerate themselves if the injury is severe. I've represented numerous clients who were injured in accidents and suffered brain injuries. Brain injuries can occur even when you don't hit your head in a car accident or a slip and fall accident. Because of the forces that are in play during impacts, especially strong impacts, the brain can actually move within the skull and be injured by hitting the inside of your skull. So when these types of injuries happen, and we call these contre coup types of concussions because the brain moves to and fro, the injury can be just as terrible as if someone hit the interior of the car. When I am presented with a case such as this, and a client comes into my office or one of their loved ones comes in and tells me, look, they suffered an injury in an accident. They didn't actually hit their head, but their memory is not what it was. They seem to be frustrated and agitated all the time, whereas they weren't before. They seem to have cognitive problems concentrating. When this happens, immediately we identify it as a potential traumatic brain injury. It doesn't matter if it's a minor, moderate, or major injury. All of these types of injuries affect people profoundly. So what we do is first we send them to a neurologist, and we have the finest neurologists that have been educated at UCLA, the University of Chicago, Harvard even. And these neurologists know how to determine whether somebody potentially has a brain injury. What they do then is they perform tests such as MRIs. They perform other tests such as EEGs. And ultimately, testing is done with a battery of tests by a neuropsychiatrist, and we can find out the limits of their impairment. So it makes a big difference in a case. If you have a situation in which an attorney overlooks this type of injury, the attorney may settle the case for very little, or they may not send them to specialists who will wait until the case is over before they're paid. And so they can't truly evaluate the case. The case may be worth $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, because we're talking about somebody's life, and it may be 20, 30, 40 years of their life that will be impaired, and their relationship with their family and their ability to work and to earn as much. So it's very important for the attorney to make these assessments and get them the treatment they need. So hopefully they can get back to somewhere close to where they were before the accident. As I was saying, usually these types of injuries, if they're severe enough, are irreversible. But recently, there have been testing that has been done, and doctors and specialists and scientists have determined that they may be able to improve the person's ability as far as their memory and their cognition and these mood swings they have in their life by using a device that has been used for a few years with regards to Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a degenerative disease that affects the brain and very often the communicative centers of the brain. So what they do is they implant an electrode deep in the brain, in the part of the brain that deals with communication. And they found that by stimulating this part of the brain by way of this electrode, then they've been able to improve cognition, memory, the things that are damaged in brain injury cases. up to 30% or more. Now, the studies have just been limited, so we're not sure if these are changes that will last permanently or they will depend on the individual. But it is a promising therapy that we as attorneys who represent people with brain injuries need to look out for in potentially treating them and getting them back to where they were. There may come a day where brain injury is reversible, at least by some significant percentage. And when a client comes to my office, we will be able to not only offer them the compensation that they should get from people who injure them in accidents, but also an improvement in their brain function and in their lives.
Hi there. I am an AI avatar reading a real Google review by Luis Enrique Lopez. It went very well with the lawyer. I highly recommend him 100%. All the staff are very friendly and they help you with any questions. Thanks for your review, Luis Enrique Lopez. It's appreciated.
I love the effort and dedication he provides to his clients. I highly recommend anyone that is in any type of personal injury crisis to come here. You will not be disappointed.
I can't say enough good things about Eli. Having worked for numerous attorneys, he is my favorite. He has handled numerous cases for my family, and I from personal injury to medical malpractice. He has exceeded our expectations every time.